My lobster got it back yet. Lobsters and said, I told you grab it.
Hey, welcome to Lobster Magnets Review, the channel, the review. I'm here with my buddy Gorogregoro.
Yo.
And we are here to talk about Dr. Stone, Chapter 23. So, Greg, Gorogregoro, we are returning to the Stone Age. Seku got to deploy his ramen to build the kingdom of science, and it's a resounding success. Everyone loves it. Their minds are blown. But this chapter throws a very interesting curveball that I did not see coming, and I'm not quite sure how I feel about it. How did you feel about the introduction of a completely new character?
I did get some really weird vibes from it too. He had kind of a creepy character that just showed up at like one of the most like inopportune times, I feel like, because like I really was like liking this arc a lot.
Yeah, me too. I definitely really, really love this arc. Like, I guess that's my philosophical like thing that annoys me about this.
It's like happening too soon, right?
Yeah, like I'm really enjoying just people eating ramen and making like iron and like this is fun stuff. I love it. It's like we don't really need to like build up like, oh well, you know, fucking primate guys like building up this army.
And
like,
he already has a spy like looking for Senku.
Yeah. And it's like you know, all that stuff previously was not the most engaging stuff of Dr. Stone.
And how does he know he's Senku? Like, how did he find the village so easily?
I don't know. And the fact that, like, you know, they won't even let Seku in the village, but, like, this guy just, like, is, like, there. It's like, ooh, I wish I had some cola. And it's like, well, why the fuck is...
Technically, they're outside the village right now.
Oh, are they? I thought they were inside.
Well, when they're doing the iron thing, that's definitely outside.
Yeah, that's definitely outside. But I thought, like, when they were enjoying the ramen, he, like, brought the ramen inside the village.
No, maybe... just outside the village. Senku hasn't gone inside the village yet.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Because they don't want outsiders.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, that makes sense in terms of, like, how he would get in. Because I was like, how the fuck is this creepy little motherfucker with his little stitched neck bullshit? I mean, he's an interesting character design, and that, like, he's, like, a great design for, like, an evil, manipulative guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, the idea that he's, like, a mentalist means that, like, you know, ooh, his superpower is going to be incredible psychology.
I feel like that was just, like, fucking made up. Like, what the fuck is a mentalist anyway?
You never heard of it? Mentalist is like a person who's just like really good at reading mind. It's not entirely made up. There is like a bullshit thing. Like, haven't you ever heard of the show of Psych?
Oh yeah, Psych. I like that show.
Yeah, it's exactly like that guy.
Okay.
That's what his superpower, and you know, the idea of like, you know, him like being that way, you know, present some interesting conflicts where, like, you know, hypothetically maybe he could, like, you know, manipulate all the cavemen people who are in this primitive culture who have no greater understanding of psychology, and he could be like a king amongst them and whatnot. Which, like, and you know, he's obviously being built up as like this evil, crafty character, and he's made to look like super malicious. And you know, there's that scene where, like, you know, he says, you know, Seku kind of like catches him off guard, and it's like, how's Stamina Guy? And he's like, they're fit as fiddles, and he just looks like the most evil thing possible, and he's got the like fucking line down his eye, and it just looks like the most, like, you know, nefarious, awful thing, even though he's just saying your friends are all right.
Yeah. And just basically confessing that he's a spy for primate guy right off the bat.
And you know, those sort of mind games are kind of interesting, but yeah, that is my big concern.
It doesn't feel like the mind game should happen this soon.
No, it feels like you know, I'm really enjoying this like progression of like little science and him winning people over and then building iron, and then he's gonna like save the girl from her waifu-itis, and I win over the people and like get more and more science stuff. I'm really enjoying this arc, and like I don't really need like this like Death Note character who comes out of nowhere, you know, who's like gonna be like, ooh, I'm the master manipulator. I just want to have like girls, you know, tend to me. Ooh, that's all my thing in life. Because he's so deceitful that even if he is saying, like, maybe I'll join the kingdom of science, it's like, why would you want this guy?
Yeah.
This guy's terrible.
Exactly. Right now, like, Senku's just trying to build up trust with people. And this guy, he's like, he's disrupting that trust like tremendously right now.
Yeah, he just seems like super awful and evil and terrible, and it's like,
And
I don't
what kind of
really
value could he bring, like, besides having information on Primate Guy? It's like they should just literally just tie him up and, like, put him in a dungeon
Yeah,
and go about with the rest of this arc right now.
Yeah, and like in one hand, the idea of like these like incredible mind games taking place is kind of interesting, but at the same time, it's like, I like the more lighthearted stuff. It felt like the series was getting into a great groove. I don't really need this character. The series does not need this character at this point.
Yeah, I think I agree right now. This is like, it's a little bit awkward too soon. I understand like throwing in like a little bit of a wrench, but like a character like this who like looks so fucking
he looks
devious
so evil and manipulative, and yeah, just like, and it's funny though, Dr. Stone has been doing really well. Like this week it's like the number 2 chapter.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Of all the series that have been showcased so far?
Well, just like this week, let me see.
In terms of rankings of all the manga, I mean.
Yeah. And last week it had a color page that doesn't count, but yeah, it's been like cracking the top 5, and these have been like, consistently. So it's definitely one of the, my instinct of it being one of the stronger ones out of all the pilots is proven completely right. It's definitely like, carving out a place for itself amongst the. Shonen Jump Elite. Like a lot of them are dying off, or are going to die off because they're like in the worst rankings. And Dr. Stone, like, so I kind of wonder, like, when you're doing well and what you're doing is working, then like, was there some sort of editor push that like, we got to reintroduce, a villain or a conflict? Like, why can't he just like solve problems? I was really enjoying that. I just wanted him to cook and make shit.
That one stupid editor who's just like probably like, what about Primate Guy? Primate Guy is the best thing about this series.
The best character ever.
That's when our ratings were the highest.
We need more Primate Guy. Like, I don't know, maybe this was all planned, but like, the idea of having like a light Yagami Lelouch kind of like manipulator character is interesting, and he's got a like really good character design, but like he's not what I want from this series at this point. Like, let's get a little further. Let's have Seku win the village over. Let's have him do a little more like grade school chemistry science shit.
And you know what?
Like that.
There's like, what would have worked way better, even if he was like a spy, like, and they kind of suspected him to be a spy. You just like reveal it later. Not like all in one chapter. Like, reveal the character, have this like a seed of doubt planted in their heads for a while, and then later on, like maybe a couple chapters down the line, then he reveals his evil intentions. Instead of like having it all wrapped up into one chapter.
I don't know. I guess the logic is because this village is so tightly knit, he wouldn't have been able to, unless he was like, oh, this is a guy. I guess you could have introduced him like, oh, this is a guy in the river who's like drowned, and now we're helping him out because he's in a coma. And then you can, have him revive, and then have him like play a mind game with Seku. That would have been more interesting, a little bit more of a gradual reveal versus the I'm here and I'm evil and I want to molest women.
And the thing is, like, you can't do a reveal like this and like call himself a mentalist, because like he hasn't built up any trust with anyone in the village yet. Like, why would he do that? Like, right off the bat, now he's like completely, shut down any trust for him whatsoever by talking about like his shady like ethics and his morality and all that shit.
He's like basically like the Dr. Stone equivalent of having a Pariston character from like Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, I suppose.
But like, the style of the writing of Dr. Stone isn't subtle enough for to really accommodate that and for it to feel natural. Like Dr. Stone is very bombastic. Yeah, we're gonna do everything to 110% and everything, and that works great in the sense of like all the science stuff. Like I love that enthusiasm and like little weird little things of like Seku and robots and whatnot. Like that's all great, but like it doesn't work for like this is a subtle mind game being played out, which is what this guy's supposed to be. But I'm just gonna look as evil as fucking possible.
You know what? I wonder if there was actually a conflict between like how the writer wanted this to look and like how the artist drew it.
We'll
Because
never know
unless
we find an interview.
What if he just kept his like calm, composed self while he was saying, "I'm sure they're all fit as fiddles," and like instead of like that super creepy evil look, he just like has the same
like as a piece of artwork. I do like that evil look, but like I don't like how obvious it is and like oh my god, this guy is so evil.
Exactly. It should have been probably more subtle. Like he's like whispering to Seku, like, "I'm sure they're all fit as fiddles," or like being very subtle about it, like trying to be cool.
Like
still.
maybe like some kind of like gay thing where he like is rubbing his back. They're as fit as you, or something like that, or just like a little bit more of like a worm tongue manipulator character as well as like, look at me, I'm so fucking evil right now.
Yeah, dude, this guy is such a bad mentalist. If he just like right off the bat, like no trust built up whatsoever with any of the villagers.
Well, even the Kohaku girl is like, I'm amazed. Like I hated her at first, but she's like really been growing on me.
No, I knew she was gonna be good. Her whole caveman kung fu stuff going on, and then she has to get the water for her sister. That's a big goal for her, and she's a fun character. I like her.
She got a lot better because like the sexy ninja cave girl, I thought was really dumb initially, but now like she's like they're showing that she's kind of like smart. She's like handles arithmetic. She's bouncing off of Seku and Chrome a bit, which is a lot of fun. She's a strong female protagonist, and I'm enjoying how she's being handled a lot. I think it's I'm amazed because I was like really positioned to hate her. But like the I bring up is like she says his words are weightless and featherless, and that's the point that like he's a manipulator and he's not sincere.
Yeah,
Dr. Stone is not a subtle series, and having a subtle manipulator character feels like the absolutely wrong approach for this thing. It feels like God. You remember High School of the Dead?
Yes.
So you remember how there was that like evil teacher character, and he's like, "I'm gonna build my own society because I'm gonna let all the high school kids fuck in the bus. And this is how you build a new world." He feels like that.
Kind of. Except High School of the Dead was more gratuitous, like.
It was more gratuitous everything. Well, the point is that like he's supposed to be like this evil manipulator character, but he's just stupid. And High School of the Dead is like
gratuitous fan service.
Yeah, gratuitous fan service, violence, and it's like who the fuck is this guy? And then he winds up doing nothing, and he's just a stupid waste of time. So this guy might not be a stupid waste of time. Like I love the fact that Seku like calls him out and like I think your books are garbage, but like he doesn't feel like what the series needs. But well, here's a question though. I still enjoyed this chapter. What's your score? For me, it's an 8. I think it's a solid 8.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see how this plays out. As many problems as I have with this character, I think is still a chapter that really draws me in to want to know what happens next. Especially with this new wrench, like you feel like it's like that situation again where you feel like the manga's gonna crash and burn, and you just or it's like a car crash you can't look away from that could potentially happen.
It's not as bad as like the previous car crash that nearly sunk the series in our eyes.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as bad. It's an interesting development. I'm still curious to see what happens next week. I'm still hooked. I'm just very, very cautious.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things that I really liked that was happening in the series and like this guy is like basically he's like saying that like none of that stuff is gonna matter anymore. That like Dr. Stone is like gonna like focus on like mental mind games, and I think that like okay, unless you have like some good pseudoscience, behind it, like, don't waste my time. I want to see like more Bill Nye the Science Guy stuff. That's what you're good at. That's what you should keep on doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. We don't need super intense mind games right now. We just need fun science adventures.
Mm-hmm. And
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, the Bill Nye the Science Guy manga, like that's what it should be, and like that's why I'm rooting for the series to become like an all timer, and like maybe take up. Oh man, can you imagine that if like Shonen Jump the Three Pillars were like
Dr. Stone,
One Piece, Dr. Stone, Promised Neverland, and I guess maybe My Hero Academia.
Yeah, well, that'd be pretty nuts. Oh my god, what if it's like One Piece? One Piece number 1, Dr. Stone number 2, and what would be the third?
I'd say My Hero Academia is like thoroughly number 2. Although some people might argue something like, oh, Gintama's number 2, but Gintama's like a legacy series that's like slowly going to be ending soon, and they just kind of like keep it going as respect for like how long it's gone.
Yeah, I don't know that much about Gintama, but I heard a lot of people really like that series.
Well, it's a long-running gag series. It's funny. I've been like watching more and more clips on YouTube, and that kind of makes me want to take the plunge. But, Gintama's a legacy series that's been going on for like 600, 700 plus chapters. But and it comes and goes with success, but it never quite like reaches that insane level of popularity that like, the big three had, like Shonen, that like Naruto or Bleach enjoyed.
Yeah, man, that reminds me so much of Bakuman when you say that. That's just like, a gag manga will never reach the top tiers, but it'll always just like stay there. It can always like stay in the top 10.
Yeah.
But never quite reach the height as like top 1 because of the genre.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. I can't think of any like gag manga. Because, like, humor is, like, so subject to region and taste that it's really difficult to, like, make a joke that's so good that, like, everyone will love it.
Yeah.
But, Gintama supposedly has, like, serious storylines as well amidst all the gags and, like, manga and anime parodies.
You could say Rick and Morty is a gag anime series.
Except for the fact that it's a fucking Western cartoon and not an anime.
I mean, it's mostly a gag show, right? It's like
yeah, but that's like it's a situation comedy. It's very different than like a gag manga. Well, I guess you could say the Eastern equivalent of a gag manga is like the equivalent of a situation comedy in America. But that's a larger question of semantics and genre. And someday, like, I want to make a video about like My Hero Academia, and basically talk about like how it incorporates Western superhero stuff, but while it also has the principles of shonen storytelling. And, shonen storytelling is basically like, as most superheroes, they're like usually on their own. They're all alone. Like Spider-Man's on his own. Fucking X-Men are on their own. Superman's on his own. Batman's on their own. They're singular entities.
When you say X-Men is on their own, they're technically all together fighting.
All right, they're all together in a group, but like it's not like there isn't like a larger superhero organization, although you could argue Justice League or Avengers maybe are, but there's not like the beauty of that shonen is that there's always like a structure or hierarchy. There's a Konoha Leaf Village. There's a Soul Society. That is sort of like the core appeal of shonen storytelling, where you have this organization, and then like usually the main character is always the lowest totem pole within that organization, and then you see them sort of rise up through the ranks, and that's the sort of like progression that makes it so satisfying and like almost a Pavlovian level. And that's what like My Hero Academia incorporates that usually superhero narratives in the West don't have.
Yeah.
And you know, that's why it's like kind of the ultimate fusion of East and West.
Interesting.
But like I said, that's like something I want to get into more detail. But Greg, so what would you rate this chapter? I don't think you gave a rating yet.
I'm gonna have to give it a weird 8. An 8 with a question mark.
8 with a question mark. You know, you might rate it higher or lower depending on how next week's chapter goes.
Yeah, it's got me curious, but it's just like it's definitely a turn I wasn't expecting in the story. Like I hope it doesn't bring it down, like in terms of like the fun I was having with this arc.
Yeah. Like I completely agree with that. Like I wasn't expecting it too, and sometimes it's nice to have something surprising, but like usually something, you know, you're surprised when like you know, something's bad going along and this got more interesting when versus like, you know, Dr. Stone was working at peak capacity these past few weeks. We were getting great chapter after great chapter, and it just feels like you know, it's like no, I don't want this. I don't want Primate Guy. Fuck Primate Guy. Let's have more science adventures. Let's learn more people in the village.
Exactly.
Like I'm actually starting to like these villagers.
Me too. I like Watermelon Head Girl, Kohaku, Chrome.
The fucking spear guy, like you're, you know,
Golden Spear Guy.
Golden Spear Guy. Like I am actually like getting to really enjoy these people, and like why throw that all out the door just because you have to keep the battle fucking thing going when, you know, the stuff has been so strong and like, you know, you were winning me over. You were like, you know, you were giving consistent fun entertainment. You were living up to exactly what this manga needs to be. Don't be something that you're not, and don't be like a worse version that you're not good at.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we potentially think could happen in the later chapters after.
I mean, it could be really interesting. Maybe this Gen is going to be the best character ever, but you know, he isn't in line with what,
you know, he feels like Psy from Naruto right now. It feels like the first introduction of Psy.
I fucking hate Psy so much. That's another video I want to make. I want to make a video about how Psy was like the biggest waste of fucking time that Kishimoto ever like brought to life. He's fucking terrible. You know he's terrible. Tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, he is fucking terrible. Like,
he was a huge waste of time. Kishimoto wasted an entire arc introducing him. He didn't pay it off in any way. And then he's just like around, is like, ooh, I don't know emotions. Fuck you. Your backstory sucks. Your character design sucks. You don't do anything. You are just like a waste of fucking space and page time. God.
Yeah. That was bad. Like, it'd be kind of interesting maybe if he had, like, one final mission. Like, he was part of Anbu, right?
No, he was part of fucking Root, which was like a super secret evil Anbu that was run by Danzo that was supposed to be doing all the shady shit, but nothing came of it. Danzo became Hokage for 2 minutes, and his ultimate evil deed was killing a messenger frog.
What if Sai had, like, some secret, like, Root mission, like even after Danzo's death, like that.
Well, you know, I mean, that would have been interesting. Maybe that would have been a fucking waste of time. But you know, Sai was a fucking waste of time. So hopefully, this new guy will be a waste of time. You know, he is very much like Sai, although he's like made to look a little bit more skeevier and eviler.
Yeah, at least this guy is showing, I guess, weird kind of evil personality traits, while Sai is just kind of like a cardboard a lot of the time. Yeah,
he's a fucking waste of time. Okay, but still, this was a good chapter. 8s for both of us. We enjoyed it. What should we plug for this episode? What should be our?
How about a season DVD collection of Psych?
You know what? I was thinking that too. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Buy Psych.
Yeah.
Because now that we have like all the Mentalist things that are going on in Dr. Stone, you can get psyched by watching Psyched. because that's the best Mentalist show that's going to go on forever.
Is that still
so
going
go
on?
down there, click by Psych, and then we can see if the new Dr. Stone guy gets to psych you out, because if he's as good of a mentalist as the guy in Psych. Psych!
Oh my god. Even I cringed a little bit doing that. But is Psych actually still going on as a series? Like,
maybe, I don't know, maybe USA
I
is
could have
doing
sworn
other
it
shit.
was canceled after a while.
I know it has a lot of fucking seasons. Come on, internet, stop being slow. Psych TV show. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, wow, it did not last as long as I thought it did. Well, no, this is the first season, so... Okay, well, it's the first season of Psych. 108. All right, it lasted 8 seasons, and I think and there's a TV movie, so it's still technically alive.
Wait,
It's going to air in
it has
2017.
8 seasons?
Yeah, there was a lot of Psych, man.
Wow.
A lot of Psych to psych you out.
People really like that smart detective genre thing.
No, yeah, it's always... Well, let's see if you get psyched out next week in the next chapter of Dr. Stone.
I don't see Dr. Stone as being that kind of genre, but
No, and it shouldn't be. But like for the purpose of my shilling, ooh, Psych, Mentalist, ooh, it's so fun. Take a bullshit positive stance.
all right.
Thank you for watching this video. Like, comment, subscribe. As you know, especially with the Dr. Stone ones, I always reply to the fucking comments pretty fucking religiously, because I like, engaging people in a series that maybe not a lot of people are reading. Thank you for watching, and remember, lobster's antennas, but don't you grab it.
Magnets made of iron, lobsters made of light.